Hey, welcome to RC Arsenal. Today I'm going to do a quick unboxing, first impressions, review, etc. of the Axial SCX10 II. Now, for those of you who are subscribers to my channel, you know that I don't have a rock crawler. So this is the first one for me. I'm pretty excited. There's so much to learn. I just got a lot of stuff to learn, but I'm excited. I also want to give a quick shout out to Darcy over at Dirty D's RC. Very knowledgeable guy, very cool. Anytime I've asked questions, he's always had great answers. If you've never checked out his channel and you're into rock crawlers, go ahead and check out his stuff. Very knowledgeable guy. I value his opinion. He's not even an Axial fan. He told me, I asked him about this. He looked up the specs and actually said, yeah, that would be a great first model. So, hands down, thank you. Thank you, Darcy. Anyway, let's get this thing out of the box. Now, for those of you, I'm not a big fan of wasting time getting out of the box, because sometimes that bores me. I don't have time for that. I know you don't have time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So anyway, here we go. Let's get this thing out. It's a big old box. All right, here we go. I'm going to bring the camera in a little bit closer, but just quick overview. The detail looks pretty good. One thing that I do like about it is the amount of steering degree that this thing has. You can also adjust it right from the transmitter. You can adjust your, the rate of your steering as far as how far it's going to go. Of course, your steering trim, your throttle trim, all that stuff. It's kind of cool. You can reverse your servos on the back of the transmitter as well. This is the first time I've had this. It's a Tactic TTX300. I'm actually pretty impressed with this transmitter. I've had a lot of Traxxas models, but I think this one, I'm going to have to give it to him. This is a much better transmitter for an RTR. Alright, so I'm going to bring the camera in. You guys can get a better look at this thing, and I'll explain a few more things in detail. Alright, so here's a better look at it. One thing, the body actually, paint job is pretty good. The detail is pretty good. Obviously, for those folks that are into a lot of the scaling thing, I can see a good amount of detail. It does come with, additional plastic parts to change it, I guess, give it a more realistic look. One thing that's kind of cool is the lights. They actually have the holes mounted back up on the inside, and to buy those lights, they didn't look that expensive, but if you want to add the lights, actually not bad. I'm not a fan of the 2000 Jeep Grand Cherokee. That's just me personally, but one nice thing with Axial is I noticed there are a lot of aftermarket parts, bodies, etc. So can't really complain. Bumper itself, it has the spots for the additional lights on the front as well as the rear. I'm kind of surprised by the detail to it. I guess that's the thing for folks into the scale thing. Even the trailer hitch, at first I was like, that's kind of cool, but then I figured that's going to suck. It's probably going to drag, but you know what? Now it's got screws. You can easily take that out and modify it. Pretty cool. One nice thing, the frame, the aluminum frame, that's kind of what sold me, because it looks like it will make it a lot easier to do modifications and change things. Battery, alright. It's got a pretty big size battery compartment. Just for example, that's a 2S 2500 milliamp LiPo in there. This thing can take nickel metal hydrate, as well as LiPos up to a 3-cell. But there's a lot of room. It comes with some extra tabs so that you can adjust it, put it where you want it. But like I said, I just kind of got this thing out, so really haven't messed with it all or drove it. The steering servo, one cool thing about that, metal gear, 151 ounce per square inch. Pretty nice, with the ball bearing links in it. It looks like a very cool servo. And one nice thing I kind of like is the amount of turning radius that you do get out of it. That will be nice as far as rock crawling. Steering servo waterproof, ECS waterproof. Of course, your receiver is sealed up in there, so consider that waterproof. Your motor is waterproof. The motor is a 35T brushed motor, which is probably going to be just fine for this model. I don't see any issues with that. The receiver. It is a 3-channel, 2.4 gigahertz. It's going to be nice. Another nice thing, let me get back to the transmitter. This transmitter actually, like I was saying earlier, this is probably one of the better transmitters that I've seen come with an RTR. It's got a programmable 3rd channel, which is going to be nice. You can either use it for 2-speed shifting, winches, lights, etc. So that's kind of cool that it has the options in there. Like I said, you can adjust your throttle, your steering. It also has, the reverses for your servos right on it. Pretty comfortable feel. I like this better than the Traxxas ones that I was getting. No complaints with that. The tires on this thing, it's got some S30 compound BF Goodrich tires as far as the detail. I mean, these tires are pretty nice. Pretty soft. You know, they got the foam inserts in them already. The rims aren't too bad. You know, the detail is pretty nice on this thing overall. Here's a look at the bottom. Like I said, I don't know tons about rock crawlers, but it does look pretty tough. All the metal links are going to be nice. You know, the shocks seem a little bit soft to me, but like I said, I don't know a whole lot about rock crawling, so I don't know where they should be at. Obviously, you know, it's not going to be jumping like, say, the Revo or Slashes that I've had. So, yeah, all in all, I'm really looking forward to messing with this thing, learning a lot. Like I said, I don't know, you know, if you're into rock crawlers and you've been messing around with those things for years, you know a lot more about these things than I do. So this is just kind of the first look at it from a guy that really knows nothing about it. I'm excited to check this thing out. I'm excited to try this thing out. One other cool thing, let me get to this. Okay, so the amount of parts. The amount of parts that came with this thing, you know, there's tons of stuff. There's tons of extra links, you know, whole nother center chassis, additional drive shaft links. There are tons of extra parts in here. I've never seen so many parts. I almost wonder if they messed up and just put, I mean, look, you know, these are all the same. I don't really know. Like I said, it's the first time I've owned an Axial, so I'm not quite sure if that's the norm or not, but I mean, tons of extra parts, which is great, because typically you don't get that. Another cool thing that I like about it, I was checking out the manual. For those of you who've had RCs and you've had crappy manuals, one thing that I like big time, because you know how it is, you're going to break things. One thing I like, at least at this, is the amount of detail. You know, wherever it has pictures, it's giving you part numbers, breakdown of everything. Because you know how it goes, you break something, you're like, oh shoot, what is that? Well, awesome manual, very detailed, part numbers all over this thing. Breakdowns of your drive shafts, your axles. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm actually excited. You know, breakdown of your transmission, of your frame. I don't know, pretty cool. And then in the back, you got all this other stuff, even an optional parts list, which is pretty cool. So, hey, so there we have it. The unboxing and quick first overlook from a guy that knows nothing about rock crawlers. So anyway, come on back to the channel, see running vids of this, check out the ride as I learn how to drive these, first of all, as well as modifications, etc. that I'm going to do to the model. Thanks for checking it out, and come on back.